Hello everyone, I'm Jason Shaw from VisionAid International. Welcome to another one of our demonstration videos, and today we're going to be looking at the ReadEasy Evolve reading machine. It's a text-to-speech reader that you can either use as a basic reading machine or as an advanced reader where you can import and export documents. So we'll go through all the features. We'll start with its basic format first. It's a nice self-contained unit, and it's the world's first standalone reading machine that is actually capable of reading up to A3 size documents. Width-wise, you're talking it's 220 millimeters wide by 205 millimeters high by 110 millimeters thick, and it weighs around about 2 kilograms. It's got a nice integrated handle, so it's easy to move around. It's got storage in the back for its camera system, which is here, and also it's got a separate storage area here if you happen to want the advanced feature pack with the device as well, which you can then magnetize and it fits into the back of the unit, so it's all nice and neatly contained. Right, before we actually power the machine up and start looking at the features, I thought we'd have a quick look around at it first. So on the front there's the speaker grille, and on one of the sides of the unit, you've got a nice, simple volume slider. So obviously at the top, it's maximum volume and minimum volume. The unit is also provided with a pair of headphones as well, which you can plug in here. There's a standard stereo headphone jack. Like round the back, we have the camera, which is stored in here at the moment. I'm just going to take that out so you can see how that comes out. It just simply pushes out here, out of the main unit. And I'll just put that to one side for a minute because we'll look at that later. And there are connections along the back of the ReadEasy Evolve. We've got USB 3, and we've got two of those, one on either side of the unit. So they're for importing and exporting documents from the device, and also for updating the software on the device. Those who want to use the visual aspects of the Evolve, we've got an actual display port, and we've got HDMI output, so you can put them to different styles of screen. And then on the end, there's a rounded connector with a nice round tactile area, so it's very clear where you plug the power into the Evolve as well. Also on the side with the volume slider, there is a little flip out tactile document guide, which I'll show you actually when we look at the main functions, because that's only when we're looking at A3 size documents. And then on the top of the unit, here we've got an integrated handle. So it's nice and easy to move. Nice, simple, tactile controls. They all feel very different, so they're all different shapes deliberately, and they're all nice and brightly coloured as well. So if you have got some useful vision, the controls are easy to pick off visually as well and identify. The power button to the unit has been moved towards the back of the unit deliberately, so it's out of the way of the main control, so you don't press that by accident. It's recessed in a little area at the back, but it's still on top of the main unit, but just out of the way of the other controls. And then next to the controls, this is the big difference on the Evolve, you have two slots where you can plug in the camera. So one of them is for A4 reading, so documents up to A4, and then one for A3. Obviously in the A3 slot the camera sits higher so it can see more information. And then in the lower slot, in the A4 slot, it can actually read a much smaller text as well. So that's quite useful if you're trying to read things like medication and anything with really tiny print on. So you've got the two slots. And it's best to, if you're going to switch the camera from one slot to the other slot, I'll show you again when we switch it on, that it's better to do it while the machine's on, because the Evolve will tell you which slot you're in and also confirm that you've connected the camera correctly. So it's all really nice and user-friendly. So let's go ahead and power it up and connect it up and read some documents. Right, so let's set the ReadEasy Evolve up. So I have the camera. The camera just simply unfolds into an L shape and then slots in one of the two slots. So I'm going to just drop it straight into the A4 slot. Simple as that, straight in. Now the camera then looks out the front of in front of the machine. And then we also provide with the Evolve what we call the contrast mat. This is like a very thin sort of plastic mat, and it's got a cutout in the mat the same shape as the base of the Evolve. So I simply place the Evolve in the cutout. It doesn't actually need the contrast map to function, but it's a really useful tool to be able to show people where they should position the documents under the Evolve. So both visually and as a tactile guide, it's really quite a nice little feature, but it doesn't actually need it to function, but it's very useful. So now we've got it set up, I've got the guide in place there, I've got the camera plugged in, I'm just going to plug the power in and then off we go. Okay, so now when I switch the Evolve on, a couple of seconds later you'll hear an audible beep just to let you know that the unit's powered up. That's useful for people who have no vision at all, so totally blind. And then it'll load up and then it'll tell us when it's ready to read. So I'm going to switch it on now. Nice little dull beep there. And it's now loading. I've checked that I've got my volume at half level, so it's not too loud.
ReadEasy is ready.
Right, so we're going to start off with a nice simple A4 size letter. This is obviously a mock-up letter for confidentiality reasons. This one's an NHS letter. So if I put the letter portrait in front of the machine, in front of the ReadEasy Evolve, obviously the bottom of it, the letter then goes off the mat, so it can't see that, the positioning mat. So if I then put its landscape, it will fit on and read all the letter. And then just simply press the capture button.
Capturing. NHS, Boston Pilgrim Hospital, Sibsey Road, Boston, PE219QS. Mr. Alan Bennett, 18 House Street, Spalding, Lincolnshire.
Okay, and once it's captured the document, the ReadEasy Evolve automatically will start reading it. And to navigate, I move from the capture button over to 3 navigation buttons. There's a nice round with a little blip on it in the centre. That's play and pause. So that starts it reading.
PE1
and stops reading. And then either side of the round play and pause button, there are 2 bracket shaped buttons, one either side. So one to the right and one to the left of the round one. So to the one to the right, every time I press this, it will jump forward a sentence, so I can skip forwards quickly. So if it's just reading the address at the top, I already know it's from the hospital. I don't necessarily want the full address of the hospital, so I can skip forward till it says "Dear Sir," "Dear Madam," and then start reading the main bulk of the letter more quickly. Or if it reads something I don't understand or I want to read again, I can press the button on the opposite side of the play and pause to the left-hand side, and that would every time I press that, it will jump back a sentence. But you can also, if I press and hold the buttons down instead of tapping them, it will navigate forwards and backwards a word at a time. So if I show you that, so if I press and hold the forward button,
PE11 one ab. Dear Mr. Bennett, it was great to speak with you.
And when I let go on the word, it'll actually spell the word to me. So that's useful if you're looking for some information, maybe a phone number, or like we did there, it read the postcode out again. So I can navigate forwards and backwards slowly, or also in larger chunks, so I can jump more quickly through the document.
You the other day. Thank you for getting in touch to arrange an appointment with.
And I can also do, by pressing and holding the play and pause button and using the brackets left and right, I can also then jump an even larger section as a paragraph. And next to the navigation buttons, there are 2 bright yellow buttons, one above the other. The top button will make the ReadEasy Evolve read the document faster, and the bottom button will make it read it slower. And it's very gradual steps. There are a lot of steps in between, but it's a beautifully simple control panel. And we have got customers using the Evolve over 100 years of age, and also very young people that use it in college or in work. So it can be used by all abilities and all age groups. It's a great reading machine. So this is it in its simple form with all the controls. And later on, we're going to go and look at the more advanced features when we look at the feature pack that is an optional extra for an Evolve. A new feature that I want to highlight on the Evolve, which we're very proud of, is a table mode, a new automatic table mode, because it's quite difficult to read information such as bank statements with any reading machine, because obviously they can read, some readers will only read in columns, so it'll go down columns. So if you're reading a bank statement, it will read all your dates first, and then it will read all the sort of transaction details in the center column, and then it will read down the third column, which will be all your financial information. So it doesn't tend to make sense because the information's in a tabular form. If I press and hold the capture button, I can force it to read across the columns, but now it's even got an automatic mode. So I'm going to show you, again, we're using a mock-up bank statement here, and if I capture this bank statement, it'll start to read the information at the top of it, and then when it detects the actual statement area, it'll enter the table mode automatically, and then it'll read the rows and columns, so it'll make a lot more sense. So I'm just going to place the document again, press the capture button.
Capturing. Example bank statement. I, Barclays. Mr. Jeff Jones, statement date, the 3rd of May 2021. Entering table. Header detected. Row 2 of 12. Date.
So there, I was just going to stop it for a second. So there you heard the Evolve detect the table and enter the table, and it said there's a header detected. So it doesn't read the header because that's not that useful until you're reading the information underneath. So it doesn't read all along the header titles, but it will read it when it starts to read the content of the table. It will read the header of every column first. So if you listen now.
The 10th of November. Description. Starting balance. Balance. £370.20. Row 3 of 12. Date. The 13th of November. Description.
So every time it moves to a new column, it reads the heading of that column. It reads the content of it, and it also tells me whereabouts it is in the table. So really useful information, and so it makes it much easier to navigate. This is all automatic, and I can also navigate manually. So I can, using the simple navigation buttons on the front of the on the top of the Evolve, I can actually move across the rows and also go vertically up and down the columns. And then it'll read all the way through the bank statement, and then when it gets to the end, it'll then exit the table and then continue reading the rest of the information on the bank statement. Or I can skip forwards and skip past the table and do the same thing myself. So I can either do it manually or it will do it all automatically. But it's a brilliant feature, and it's brand new. Also on the Evolve, it's got motion detection. So when you're doing things like, I've got here a paperback book. Paperback books tend to be fairly springy. So the problem is that I need to hold the book open in order to read it. But of course, and as soon as I let go to go and press one of the buttons or hold it, I either have to use one hand to hold it while I press the button, which is a bit trickier, but it's much easier if I can use both hands. So what you can do with the Evolve, if I press the capture button to capture the document,
capturing.
If I'm moving underneath, the Evolve won't take a picture when it detects movement, and it warns me that it's detecting movement or there's something wrong by continually beeping at me. So you can hear the continuous beep to tell me that there's something wrong. So I've got plenty of time. I don't need to rush. I can position the document. I'm still moving, so it's still beeping. I'm putting my hands both in the bottom corners of the book to hold it nice and steady. And it goes quiet and it's happy. And once the Evolve is happy, it'll take the picture. And that's it. And then I can release the book. So it never takes it would never take a blurred picture. So it makes it so it does a more accurate job on the OCR, on the text recognition. And also the Evolve can do also what's called 3D deskewing. So even if the book was slightly at an angle, and on a book where the pages go into the spine and there's a curve on the page, the Evolve can also deal with that perfectly well. So the actual software in the Evolve will flatten the page out more. Again, you'll see that when we show you the visual side of it, because you can actually see it visually doing it on the screen. But it does actually cope really well with reading right into the spine of a book as well. Right, so now we're going to look at the different slots for the camera on the Evolve. So at the moment, we've been working in the A4 slot for the A4 letters and documents that we've been reading. So I just want to quickly show you how to remove the camera from one slot to the other one. And it's nice and simple, and the machine will respond in audio as well to tell us that we've confirmed that we've connected the camera correctly and confirm which slot the camera's in. So if I just grab hold of the Evolve camera and pull it up towards the ceiling.
Camera disconnected.
It says camera disconnected. I'll remove the camera, place it in the front slot and then reconnect it.
Camera connected for A3 capture.
Camera connected for A3 capture. And the same in reverse, I'll just quickly show you that.
Camera disconnected.
And then back into the A4.
Camera connected for A4 capture.
So it gives you the confidence to know that you've actually connected the camera properly and lets you know exactly which slot you're in.
Camera disconnected. Camera connected for A3 capture.
Right, so now we've got the camera in the A3 position on the ReadEasy Evolve. Let's try a larger document. So I've got a newspaper here, which is obviously A3 size. I'm going to place it onto the contrast mat, but obviously the contrast mat only deals with A4 size documents. So if I reach down the side of the Evolve, there's a little flip out tactile guide that I mentioned before. That just simply pops out. So now I know exactly where to position the A3 document. So that's nice and simple. And then it's just a case of, again, pressing the capture button, just as simply as we did before.
Capturing.
And the Evolve will photograph it and process it. It will take it slightly longer because there's an awful lot of text on this page.
Recognizing 84%. Daily Mall, Tuesday, the 11th of May, 2021. Beyond the welcome caffeine lift, research shows that regularly drinking coffee may help you live longer, thanks to its anti-inflammatory and antioxidant.
Oh, there you go. Coffee makes you live longer, apparently, so I should live for an awful long time because I love coffee. So there we go. So it starts to read the newspaper there, and it obviously would work its way through. And what I'm going to do is we'll use the same page when we connect the screen to the Evolve, so you can actually see how it captures and reads it there as well. And obviously once you've got the screen connected, you can also select exactly where we want to read on that page more quickly. And if then I want to go back to A4, I push the tactile guide back in, lift the camera out,
Camera disconnected.
and just drop it back into the A4 slot.
Camera connected for A4 capture.
Simple as that. Another important feature of the Evolve is it's available in multiple languages. Over 30 actually, so most languages it can auto switch, so you don't need to change any settings. It'll just automatically switch when it sees it on the page, but there are certain languages that you have to manually switch, and we have some special profiles set up so you can switch quickly between the profiles, so you don't have to keep going into the menus to do that. So for example, I've got a test sheet here where I've got some English at the top, what I've got then some French, and then a German section at the bottom. And you can also get the Evolve to either just look at the beginning of the document and keep that language throughout the document. But if you've got a document like this where you've got multiple languages as you go through the document, you can get it to look more often as it goes through the document. So if I place the document here, press the capture button,
Capturing.
it will start off reading the English.
Multi-language test document. Red Bull's Daniel Ricciardo narrowly
And then if I skip forwards,
Ferrari's Kip Massa on the second day of the Alonso completed more than 50.
Le défenseur des droits
now it's gone
s'interroge
into the
sur
French.
l'accessibilité aux cantines scolaires. Quelle est la situation
can skip
car
through the
si
French.
en 2011
Größer, heller, breiter. Sie wollen Wachstum? Dann kaufen Sie sich ein
And now
neues
it's gone to the
Handy.
German.
Mit jeder Smartphone ein persönlicher Blick.
Without me having to change anything, it's just automatically switched as it's gone through reading the document. Okay, so there we've just finished looking at the Evolve in its simplest form, and now we're going to look at the feature pack for the Evolve, which unlocks all its features. When you order the feature pack, it can be connected to any Evolve. So if you've already got an Evolve, a ReadEasy Evolve, you can just add the feature pack to it, or you can order the machine with the feature pack present. And the feature pack actually consists of a separate keypad, which connects to the Evolve via Bluetooth, and it's the latest low power Bluetooth. So it stores into the back of the machine. So I'm reaching over the back of the Evolve at the moment, pull the keypad out, and it's a nice tactile buttons with nice clear markings, both in tactile form and in visual form. So we've got nice brightly coloured buttons, and we've also got individually shaped buttons, so they all feel very different, all on one keypad. There's also what we call a simplifier on the keypad. The simplifier on the keypad simply hides all the visual controls. So if you're a totally blind user or you don't use any of the visual functions, you don't want to connect it to a screen, you just want all the ability to be able to do multiple pages, import and export documents from the Evolve, and you need all those power features, but you don't necessarily want anything visual, the simplifier can be left on the keypad, so then it covers all the controls that are related to the visual side of the device. And then if you do need them, it's just simply a magnetic cover, just remove the cover, and all the visual controls are all in bright yellow to show that they're part of the visual side of the unit. So I'll just pop that back on there. And as soon as you press a button on the keypad, it will instantly connect to the Evolve, and the Evolve will respond by saying wireless keypad connected. The keypad takes 2 AAA batteries in a little compartment here, which are supplied with the unit. Right, now we're going to have a look at the keypad feature pack in more detail. It has got an integrated help system where I can press the triangle shaped button in the top left hand corner. I can press that, and I'll do it now.
Help. Press a button to hear its function. Press the same button again to exit help and perform its function.
Okay, so I've pressed the help button. It then tells me to press any other button on the keypad, and it will give me a description of what that button does. Okay, and if that's useful as well if I'm looking for a certain button, because then once I've found it, I can press it again. It will exit help and then perform the function that I was after. And it's also displaying that same information that it's just told me there, also in a visual form on the screen, in magnified form on the screen. So going down the left-hand side of the keypad from top to bottom, you've got the help key on the top. The middle button is document management, so that's where I want to go if I want to import, export, save documents. It's got an integrated SSD hard drive on the Evolve, which you can store probably more than 10,000 pages, so quite a lot of information. And then you can obviously then also export documents onto the USB drive, so you can plug those in, so you can do that continuously, obviously. So you've got sort of multiple ways of saving documents and exporting them. And that's all done through the document management, and all the settings on the Evolve, and anything that you want to change on the Evolve is all done through the menu system accessed by this main button. So to tap it, you go into document management. If you want to go into more advanced options, you press and hold it down, and it goes into a slightly different menu with more options. And then below that, I've got a large red button, and it's got an X on it, so that's to cancel anything or to stop. So when I'm doing multiple captures of pages, that's how I stop it if I've finished, or to come out of anything or cancel anything, I just press that button and it stops. And then along the bottom of the keypad, I've then got some navigational controls, very similar to the ones on the main unit. So the actual center ones all feel the same as the one on the main unit. So I've got the play and pause button exactly the same as on the main unit. So that's familiar to me. So I can play and pause. I can skip forwards and backwards a sentence at a time, paragraph at a time. And also then I've got 2 outer buttons on this one to jump forward and backwards a page at a time, because people who buy the feature pack often want to do multiple pages and multi-page documents, so then you'll need page forwards and back for navigation. And then above there I've got a little click wheel, which enables me to, if I turn it clockwise, it will go a word at a time forwards, and if I go anti-clockwise, a word at a time backwards. And if I turn it faster, it gets faster forwards and faster backwards, so I can go as quickly or slowly as I like. And when I'm on a word, if I use that as a button and push down on it, it will then also spell the word. And then to the right of that, I've got 2 green buttons. One of them is the capture button, the same as on the main unit. So if I tap that once, it will do a normal capture, a single page capture. But then if I want to add to that document, if I'm creating a multi-page document, I can then use the capture button above there, the smaller hexagon shaped button. And if I press that, then it'll add a page to it, rather than capturing a page and overwriting the previous one. It'll actually append, and I can build a document as I go. And I can do that manually, or I can actually do it automatically, where the Evolve will keep telling you to turn the page, and you can sit in front of the Evolve and just keep turning the pages without having to keep going back to the keypad. And then when I remove the cover for the visual controls, I've got a visual button, so that changes the way the information is presented on the screen. So that could be a television, a computer monitor. I've actually got a touchscreen monitor that I'm using, because it's also the Evolve is fully touchscreen compatible if you've got a standard touchscreen. I've got a large center zoom control, so I can increase and decrease the magnification. I can also change background and foreground colors. using that control. If I haven't got a touchscreen or I'm using a television with it, I can actually use a little joystick, a bit like you get on an Xbox or a PlayStation, which brings a large mouse pointer onto the screen, and I can change the shape and size and colour of that, so that I can directly select what I want to read. I've got a button here that switch between the actual captured document and also switch to what's called live mode. So then if I can use the camera just as a straightforward video magnifier. Finally, I've got a bookmark, so I can press that to create bookmarks throughout my document, so I can quickly jump back to wherever I need to at a later date. I've got a paperback book, and remember I mentioned about the 3D skewing where it can flatten the page out. I'm just going to bend this book up so it's more extreme, so that when it captures it, you'll be able to see the software. For those of you who can see it, will be able to see the software actually flatten the document. So I'll just show you that because it's quite impressive. Capturing. So I'm going to bend this book. Remember, it doesn't take a picture while it detects movement, so I don't have to rush. I can bend this book up quite extreme, so I'm going to bend it right up so it can still see the text, like that. I'm trying to bend it around a little bit there. And it photographs it. And watch the software. Boom, there, nice and flat.
Recognize forecast had been easily fixed.
And there it goes,
so
reading.
that all that now remained to be done was the...
So I'm going to stop it reading there. So on my screen, I can see a representation of the actual book, and it's in the same colours. It looks exactly the same as the book does in real life. And I can, if I turn the magnification wheel, I can increase or decrease the magnification, and it's lovely and smooth. And I can also, because I've got a touch screen, remember, I can also pinch and zoom. So I can pinch and zoom, and I can also navigate, and it's really nice and smooth and slick. And then I can press play and pause on here and navigate the documents with the buttons on the keypad, or because it's a touchscreen, I can tap the screen.
Had further plans for the house, but being all too aware of the rumours that...
I can pause it. And remember I mentioned about the joystick. Let's bring the joystick on, so the mouse pointer. So if I didn't have a touchscreen, I can just use the joystick just to click
Had further plans for the house,
where I want to read,
being all too
and click
aware.
again to stop. If I press the visual button once, it's now enhanced that and change it to a font, and I can choose the colour of that. So now it's changed it to a font, so it doesn't matter now what size I take it to, it never distorts the image, so it stays beautifully crisp. So I've got it set on black on white, but I could have it as white on black, just as simple.
Black on white.
Okay, and you can have all your different colours, yellow on black, black on white. And then I've got a little bars at the bottom and at the side of the document, which indicate how far through the document I'm reading. Okay, press the visual button again, and that now forces the whole document into a single column. So it now doesn't go off the screen, it puts in a single column. So as I adjust the magnification, it keeps it in a single column, a bit like an electronic book reader. But I can have it any magnification that I want, and I can again have that read back out loud.
Aware of the rumours that were now circulating around him about how he...
Okay, or if I wanted to, I can scroll up and down using just my finger on the screen, or I can start it automatically scrolling with the joystick. So as I pull the joystick down, I can stop, let go there, and that will maintain the reading speed. And carry on down again. Speed it up. All the way down the document. And then as I push up, it slowly slows down and then goes back up again. Really beautifully smooth. So if you want to still read yourself at your own pace, that's quite a nice feature. If you're feeling that you want to read something rather than having it read back by the Evolve, and just have the Evolve to present the magnified information on the screen, that's fine. Press the visual button again. I can also have it as a horizontal line. So if I've got a condition like nystagmus, I might prefer it just on a single line. You can also have the information presented vertically, so that you can scroll down or up vertically, or again have it read.
Happy where we are now. On.
And then if I press the visual button again, you could even have it in a word at a time.
Honestly, and we can't thank you enough, so don't you worry. So
press the visual button again, and then it goes back to the main book as it was presented originally. So it just goes round in a loop, but you've got lots of different options to show how it's presented. Another useful feature on the Evolve, which is quite a new feature, is if it's reading along and then, like I've got the word honest on the screen here, and if you felt that it had read that incorrectly, or if it's something that you wanted to question about that and you wanted to check that against the real document, and here I've got it in overlay mode, so I can press and hold the visual button, and it will instantly switch to the picture it took of that document. I mean, here there's no mistake, but I can straight away see and reference that against the original photograph, which is really quite useful. And also then if I've got it in the column mode, where I've got the document into a single column, and I do the same thing there, because I might be magnified more when I'm doing that, if I can press and hold the visual button down, in this mode, it'll actually show me exactly in the book where that word is and zooms in on it up to the same magnification. So I can quickly check where that word is, because obviously when it's in column mode, I don't really know where it is on the page, and that shows me straight away. So it's really useful. Okay, so now I've done a single page there on the Evolve. So if I wanted to add another page, I can press the append button, which is the one above the capture on the keypad.
Adding page 2.
Turn it over, I can do page 2. And it's really quite helpful because it tells you the page 2. And then I can press it again.
Adding page 3.
Adding page 3, turn over and do another one. So I can do it manually, like this. Or I can press and hold.
Multi-page capture started. Adding page 4.
And now it's gone into automatic mode. Now I've held the button down. So now all I do is stay by the book.
Turn page.
Turn page. And now the Evolve's now monitoring for me to turn the page. And if I just sit here, it won't do anything. But as soon as it sees me go and turn the page, it will play a page turning noise back through the speakers so that I know that it's seen me turn the page. So
adding page 5.
And it says adding page 5. So you can go through a book really quickly.
Turn page.
And then when I've finished, I cancel.
Multi-page capture complete.
And all those pages have been recognised in the background. Another great feature is more of a power feature, so you can actually read while she's still capturing pages on the back end of your document. So I've been capturing a few now, and if I want to add more, but I still want to be able to carry on reading as well, what I can do is I can start the Evolve off doing a multi-capture.
Multi-page capture.
Let's add into the document.
Adding page 12. Adding page 13.
Start reading.
More, so don't you worry, really. We're really happy where we are now, honestly, and we can't thank you enough, so don't you worry.
And it says turn page, so when I'm reading, it stops telling me by voice, but just a subtle beep.
Good care that Rusty.
So I can read without being interrupted by it saying turn page. It'll get listen.
Up their joint business. But just now his interests were on something quite different.
So just by giving me the two little beeps, that tells me that it's captured the page and I can safely turn over.
Painted yacht that was dancing across the wind. Multi-page capture complete.
There we go. Another great feature on the Evolve is if you've captured a multiple page document and you want to put in the single column sort of book reader mode, if you're using the scroll down where you're reading it yourself, I'll just start it off here and you can see the progress bar for this page is reaching the end now there on the right hand side. When it gets to the bottom, it will automatically scroll onto the next page.
Scrolling to page 3.
And the Evolve will announce that,
3.
And then it carries on then reading at the same speed. And finally, while we've got the screen connected, we're just going to have a quick look at the newspaper again. Okay, so here I can overlay that and it retains all the formatting and all the colours stay in normal colours. So everything that's colour stays normal colour, and it overlays the text. And if I want to start reading, I can select with the joystick, or I can just tap on the screen
in young people,
where I want it to read from.
Nice
and simple. So now what I've got done here, I mentioned the button before where you can switch between a live or a captured document. So I've just dropped the camera into the A4 just to quickly show you this. So if you are using the magnifier, the Evolve just as a live magnifier, a little bit slow for actually reading, but it's okay if you wanted to sign a document or use it as a video magnifier, just to magnify something. It might be some handwritten information. It's fine just to simply use it for that. But if I was actually here, and then I thought, oh, that looks interesting, I'd like it to read that back. On a normal reading machine, if I tried to capture that document, it would then jump back to the top left and start reading. But the information I've found interesting is here. On the Evolve, I can actually just tap the information that I want, or select it with the mouse pointer, it'll take the picture and then it'll start reading from that area rather than starting from the top left.
Breakfast. An egg and spinach omelette with a black coffee would be a healthier and cheaper.
So if we go back to the original thing, there you go. And there we have it. Hope you enjoyed our little tour of the Evolve today. And if you do need any further details, please do get in touch with us. Visit VisionAid.com, and or if you need to find out where your nearest distributor is for the ReadEasy Evolve, then again, please get in touch. And thanks very much for joining us. Thank you. Bye.